This series is inspired by a true story. It follows John, who, according to Korea's mandatory service laws, joins the army. From the very beginning, he faces numerous hardships and is eventually assigned to a special department known as DP. The role of the DP department is to track down soldiers who have deserted the army and bring them back. However, many of the department's rules are unfair. John is given a rare opportunity to change some of these rules. What are these flawed rules, and how will John, all by himself, manage to change them? This is the central theme of the series. John worked as a pizza delivery boy. One day, he delivers a pizza to a house where a child receives the order. The child hands him the money, and John gives back the change after deducting the pizza's cost. Just as John is about to leave, the child's mother angrily storms out, accusing him of shortchanging her son, thinking that he took advantage of the child's innocence. John insists he gave the correct amount, but the woman keeps blaming him. Her husband steps out and takes her inside. John realizes that the child must have hidden the money, so he returns and tells the couple, "I'm not a thief, and I didn't take your money." When John gets back to work, he finds out that the woman has already lodged a complaint against him. His boss fires him on the spot. John calmly responds, "I was going to quit tomorrow anyway, so just settle my dues." But his boss refuses to pay him. Out of frustration, John takes the company scooter and rides away. The next day, he sells it to a garage. The following day, John reports for mandatory military service, as required by Korea's Military Act, which mandates that every citizen serve 2 years in the army. During the recruitment process, John notices that most recruits are accompanied by their parents, except him. After a quick round of exercises and height measurements, the new recruits are assigned to different units based on their physical attributes. John is placed in the main army force, where the training is brutal. During training, they're given only 1 minute to change clothes and 3 minutes to eat. On top of this, John and his fellow trainees are constantly harassed and beaten by their seniors. One of them, Peter, suffers severe bullying. His head even hits a nail on the wall during one of the beatings, causing him to bleed. Despite this, the senior's anger doesn't subside, and he turns his attention to John, tormenting him in the same way. This is the same scene we saw in the opening. The senior asks everyone who took the lotion, but no one answers. Frustrated, he orders a locker inspection. When he opens John's locker, he finds letters sent by John's mother, still unopened. The senior starts reading one of the letters aloud, mocking John. First, he calls John crazy, then insults his mother. Holding back his anger, John pleads, "Sir, please don't bring my mother into this." The senior, infuriated, demands his gun. Just then, Sergeant Park walks in, witnessing the situation, and reprimands the senior. Afterward, Park calls John for an interview. John joins the line for the interview, which Park is conducting. When John's turn comes, Park asks him a few basic questions, but is interrupted by a message. He tells John to wait and leaves. Hours pass, and it's already evening, but Park hasn't returned. While waiting, John notices a photograph on the table and examines it closely. Eventually, Park returns and, seeing John still there, says, "You're still here? You can go now." As John turns to leave, he can't help himself and says, "Deserters can't use their IDs, so that flower must have been sent by his waiter." Park snaps, yelling, "Mind your own business," and dismisses John. Park then hands John and his partner a file and a phone, tasking them with capturing a deserter. They head to the city where the deserter is hiding. John starts reviewing the file, preparing to search a motel, but his partner suggests, "Let's enjoy our freedom today. We can look for him tomorrow." Worried, John asks, "What if we don't find him?" His partner replies, "Even better, more time to stay in the city." Reluctantly, John agrees, and his partner persuades him to drink. Later, while John is outside smoking, a boy asks for a lighter. John hands it over, saying, "Keep it, I have another." He returns inside and continues drinking heavily. The next morning, John wakes up in a cyber cafe with his phone ringing continuously. When he answers, Sergeant Park is on the line. Park says, "While you were out drinking, the deserter took his own life." John is stunned and rushes to the hospital, where he finds the boy's mother in tears. The boy's sister tells John, "He had been struggling for a long time. I just hope his death changes things for the better." Park hands John the lighter he gave the boy and says, "The lighter you gave him led to his death." John realizes that the boy who borrowed the lighter was the deserter they were supposed to catch. Since John didn't check the file, he didn't recognize the boy when they met. The deserter had been bullied and beaten by his seniors while in the army, which pushed him to desert. Realizing he couldn't escape forever, he took his own life. John, devastated, blames himself for the boy's death. Just then, John's partner arrives, showing no sympathy for the boy's fate. Overcome with rage, John brutally beats his partner. Park intervenes, but by then, John has already hurt his partner so badly that he needs to be hospitalized. In the next episode, we see what unfolds. It begins with Captain Michael being stopped by a guard at the base entrance. Michael introduces himself, saying, "I'm Captain Michael from the investigation department." The guard quickly apologizes and lets him through. But Michael quips, "You let me in without even checking my ID? Consider your leave canceled as a reward." Inside, Captain Michael attends a meeting with his superiors. During the meeting, Michael is appointed as Park's superior due to the death of a soldier. When Michael asks about the situation, Park explains that while the deserter was committing suicide, their officers were out having fun. Later, a junior officer severely beat a senior. Michael responds, "All right, dismiss that DP officer." Park replies, "He's in jail right now, but I'll do it when he's released." Michael clarifies, "Not him, the one in the hospital." Park is stunned, realizing this means John is being given a second chance. John is released from jail and returns to his room, but the senior officer who harassed him before begins bothering him again. This time, John doesn't react. Just then, John's new DP partner, Kreese, arrives. Kreese, now in charge of John, assigns him to a new case. Before they leave for the mission, Park warns John, "This time, no mistakes. You have to capture the deserter at any cost. Make sure no one dies, not him, not you." With Park's words in mind, John and Kreese head out. Kreese explains how DP officers track down deserters by following leads. Their first stop is to visit people close to the deserter, Stuart. They start by visiting Stuart's mother, who is heartbroken and clueless about her son's whereabouts. John tries to comfort her. Next, they meet Stuart's girlfriend. She says, "I already told the people who came before you. Things weren't that serious between us." Kreese responds, "You know, in the military, we're given diaries to write in. I saw your name in his diary. Stuart wrote about how you two met and fell in love." Hearing this, the girlfriend brightens a bit and promises, "If I hear anything, I'll let you know." Afterward, John and Kreese meet with several other people. Eventually, one of Stuart's friends tells them, "I saw him last night in a storage room at the substation." With this lead, they receive a call from Park. Park explains how Stuart was tortured in the army. Whenever he snored while sleeping, others would put a mask on his face and fill it with water. The night before, Stuart used his military debit card at a Subway store. Now, it was up to John and Kreese to figure out where he was. We then see John and Kreese developing a strong bond. They visit a cybercafe to gather more information on Stuart. After piecing together clues, they request another warrant from Park, which he gets from Michael. With the new evidence, John deduces that Stuart likely sleeps on the metro, and he would be spotted at the last station stop. Using this theory, John and Kreese finally track down Stuart and capture him with ease. Following Park's orders, they prepare to bring Stuart back. Before leaving, John allows Stuart to speak to his mother on the phone. Stuart breaks down in tears while talking to her. Let's see what happens next in the following episode.